Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel with another session of mathematical discussion. During college days, when we studied numerical analysis, we have heard the term iteration so many times because iteration is an important pillar of numerical analysis. Many of us are acquainted with the term iteration and various calculations regarding iteration in numerical analysis. So, a common question arises in our mind that what does iteration mean? Look, simply iteration means that we are continuing a process again and again. That is, we are continuing a mathematical work repeatedly. To run an iterative process, an iterative formula and initial approximation is very much necessary. I am explaining this concept with an example. Suppose you are trying to solve an equation f of x equals to 0, where f of x is either algebraic function or transcendental function. Transcendental means containing log x, e to the power x, sin x, cos x, etc. Now, when we are trying to extract an accurate root or exact value of root, then we can say that we are solving an equation. But in many cases, the direct solution is not possible. There, we assume an initial approximation which is called initial estimate or initial guess. Suppose that guess value is x suffix 0, that is x naught. Now, depending on that x naught, you are trying to obtain a sequence of approximation. Sequence of approximation means you are using a formula which would be called iterative formula later on. Depending on that formula, substituting the initial approximation, you are obtaining an improved value x1, and putting that x1 into that iterative formula, you are obtaining another improved value x2, and so on. That is, you are obtaining a sequence x0, x1, x2, dot dot dot. So, in iterative process, we are trying to obtain a successive approximation whose larger terms, that is, whose tail would try to proceed towards the neighborhood of the accurate value of the root. But remember, through iterative method, we cannot obtain an accurate value of the root. We can obtain an approximate value of the root which is accurate up to a desired degree. Okay, that is the main concept of iteration. That is the main concept of iterative process. So, iterative process is a process where we are using an initial approximation, and depending on that initial approximation, we are obtaining improved value of the root. Those improved values, when continuing further that process, those improved values trying to approach towards the accurate root of that equation. That is, through iteration process, we are trying to minimize the gap, we are trying to minimize the distance between the approximate value and the accurate value of the root. That is, accurate value minus approximate value, which is called the error. That is, we are trying to minimize the error. That is, our objective, our motto is to make the error very small. So the gist is, iteration is nothing but a process where we are taking an approximate initial value, depending on that value and an iterative formula, we are obtaining some improved values. That is, we are obtaining a sequence of approximations to minimize the error. It is the main concept of iteration. Now, often we say that iteration is convergent, that is, iterative method is convergent. Then what does it mean? Convergent iterative process means that when we are extending the process, that is, when we are extending the sequence, then the larger values of that sequence, that is, much improved values of that sequence, would be more accurate. That is, desired degree of accuracy will be there. That is the main concept of convergence in iterative process. Okay, there are many iterative process, and like fixed point iteration process, Newton-Raphson method, those are used to solve algebraic and transcendental equations. Likewise, we can use Gauss-Jacobi iteration method or Gauss-Seidel iteration method to solve a system of linear equations. Okay, and those methods are very much useful because the main advantage of iteration process is that when round of errors come into play, then iteration process is very much useful in mathematics and computation. Okay, so in mathematics, iteration is and plays an important role. Okay, and iteration process largely used in mathematics to improve initial approximation to get better result or get desired degree of accuracy. Okay, I hope that this discussion would be beneficial for you in the due course of your study. If you liked my video and the concept I have discussed, please give me feedback in comment section. So see you in the later video with another topic.